Welcome to Basic Musicianship Unit 7, Lesson 27. Today we're going to be talking about the G and D major scales. Before we do that, I want to go over how we form a scale. In the last lesson, we talked about the order of whole steps and half steps, but there's an easier way to think about it. If we divide the scale, the major scale, in half, we form a tetrachord, which is a pattern of whole, whole, half, with another whole bridge, and then another tetrachord of whole, whole, half. So Steve, could you demonstrate building a G major scale, starting on G, using the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half pattern?
Okay, sure. So tetra, meaning four, and maybe we'll go back to the C major scale first because that was our first one that we worked with. It was all those white keys, And so we have the movement of a whole step, and then another whole step, right, and then a half step, right? There's our first tetrachord. And then we have this bridge of a step, and then we have a whole step, and then a half step. So if you can remember, whole step, half step, then a whole step bridge, whole step, half step. Then we can apply that to any tone on the piano keyboard. So it was G that you asked for, Portia? Okay, so G, then, being our first pitch here, and I'm going to go up a whole step to A, and another whole step to B, and then a half step to C. Then our bridge will be a whole step, so C to D is our next movement, and then D to E is a whole step, right? And then a whole step now, and see now we are not on a white key, but our whole step moves here to this black key, that's a whole step, and then our half step brings us back to G.
So Steve, I have a quick question. When you were on your E and you moved up a whole step, why isn't it an F natural?
Because the tetrachord tells us to make this sound like a major scale that we must have a whole step there instead of a half step. And so an E to an F is a half step, but an E to an F sharp creates the interval that we need. The E to the F sharp is a whole step.
All right, so that's our whole step. So that means that the F sharp to G is our last half step.
Correct.
Okay. So in another way to say this, with this particular major scale, the F sharp has to be part of this major scale.
That's correct, or it won't sound like a major scale. It won't be a major scale.
Okay. What if we did the same thing starting on D?
Okay, so here's D. I'm going to start on D4. So here's D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. G is our half step. Then we go to our bridge of a whole step, and then we have another whole step, whole step here to C sharp, and then a half step to D. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D.
So just like the F sharp in the G major, we need to have that C sharp to create that half step at the end?
That's correct, because we need, to the half step to the end, or the C sharp to the D is our half step, right? And preceding that, we have our B to our C sharp, which is our whole step.
Okay, so once again, when we build the major scale, we have a tetrachord, you can see T1, with our bridge, and then our second tetrachord, following the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half pattern. And that is how we create the G and D major scales.